Although we may be ambitious, it's not in us, it's not from a place of trying to take something from anyone else. Like the story that I want to take, and I hope that I've done that with the people that I come in contact with, the leaders that I build beside me, is that there is enough room for all of us. If we all do our one thing well.
Welcome to Real Talk with Real Leaders, inspiration for radical freedom dreamers, a space where we uplift powerful voices, discover deep wisdom, and spark the courage needed to lead in today's sea of uncertainty. Together, we'll reimagine what's possible, one conversation at a time. I'm your host, Dr. Tracy Simone, Queen of Clarity and Care, and your go-to strategist, facilitator, and coach, helping social impact leaders and organizations get unstuck and get things done. Today, we have a fabulous leader lined up, but first, let's anchor down the Anchor Way. The Anchor Way is a leadership framework designed to help leaders move forward with clarity, connection, cohesion, care, and courage, even in turbulent waters. Let's take a closer look. Think about leadership like a boat. To move through uncertain waters, it needs to be well-built, well-guided, and well-powered. Every boat is built from something. At the foundation of effective leadership are three essential materials. Clarity, a grounded understanding of where you're headed and why it matters. Connection, the ability to build trust, communicate honestly, and stay rooted in relationships. And cohesion, the alignment between your values, your vision, and your daily decisions. This is what effective leadership is built on. Without it, the structure is fragile, no matter how bold your vision or how skilled your team. Aboard every boat are essentials for the journey to help you set direction, carry the work, and guide your people. The first is the compass, your direction. It represents your vision, your priorities, and your sense of purpose. It helps you stay oriented even when conditions around you are shifting. Next is the cargo, the actual work you're responsible for carrying, the programs you run, the commitments you hold, the culture that you're shaping. These are the things you're building, protecting, or transforming through your leadership. Then there's the crew, the people you lead and journey with, your peers, your partners, your team. They depend on you for clarity, direction, and care. And you depend on them to carry the mission forward. Leadership means resourcing and aligning your crew so that you can move forward together. Below the surface, every organization is influenced by the current. These are the external forces like policy shifts, funding pressures, or community needs that shape your course whether you like it or not. You can't control the current, but you can learn how to navigate it. And what propels the boat forward are two internal forces, care and courage. Care is how you lead with humanity. Courage is how you make hard decisions with integrity. Both are necessary to move through resistance and build something real. Every interview in this series is grounded in one or more parts of the Anchor Way because we believe leadership is not just about vision. It's about structure, systems, and soul. All right, leaders, we're back. And today we have with us Wakita. And Wakita and I are Winthrop alum. We have been sisters and friends forever and ever and ever. And I love her dearly. And I know that she's going to bring some nuggets and some wisdom. And you all are going to love her just as much as I do when we're done today. Wakita is a leader of many things and many people. And so I know that she's going to share a lot of information with us today. Wakita, I'm going to let you tell the people who you are and tell them a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Tracy. Thank you for having me, Dr. Tracy. Okay. Yeah, we've known each other forever. These are probably my good girlfriends. So I appreciate them changing my aspect when it came to having really good girlfriends and women who have each other's backs. And so, because there's a myth that, women can't get along, but we don't get along, gonna tell you how it is and all of the above, and we still gonna have each other's back at the end of the day. So I have appreciated living life with you all. So I am Wakita Barksdale, and I am by profession a licensed professional counselor. I am currently the Director of Wellness and Community Health at Clinton College in Rock Hill, South Carolina. And that in itself is amazing because when we came to Rock Hill, remember it was Clinton Junior College.
Mm.
So Clinton is doing some big things. It is now a 4-year college, and we had the biggest freshman class this year ever. And so just really excited about being in this space. I am a person who loves to build things and problem solve and just make things better than I found them. And so this has been a sweet space, even though it is, I was telling Tracy a little bit earlier, it is definitely challenging me to find my composure in a different type of space, leading and being able to reassure people when there really is there is no assurance.
Mm.
So this climate, just the current climate, what is going on in politics, we are having to restructure and be resilient in a way that I feel like we have been before, but we are trying to do it in a way that is different because I believe that, good leaders, they fix problems, but I think excellent leaders create systems and processes so that those same problems don't happen again. And so I think that's the era we're in right now, just as a whole.
Yes, I believe that, Wakita. I think there is legacy in creating systems and processes because it
Hmm.
means you're not just thinking about the now, you're thinking about who's coming behind
After.
you.
Yep.
Yeah. And this is a perfect segue because today we're going to be talking about current external forces, pressures, and conditions,
Okay.
and how they press down. I have witnessed you build a ton of things. So I know my girl know how to
Yeah.
navigate a current. So
Listen.
in this moment right now, how are the external forces actually shaping your leadership?
Um, you know, a lot of it is about being able to we used to say this all the time during COVID, but I feel like it is so relevant now. We are flying the plane and building it at the same time.
Hmm.
And so, as you know, especially in higher education, a lot of the policies, higher education, public health, mental health, a lot of the funding that we have been accustomed to is just gone. And
Hmm.
so we're having to figure out how to serve in the same impactful way with less resources while we build those resources back up. So really looking at changing how we fund ourselves and how we create streams of income. Because I think a lot of times we feel like service is based on philanthropy and donations and things like that. But I think we're having to move into more of an entrepreneurial mindset so that we are developing multiple streams of income so that we don't ever have to be dependent on someone deciding whether or not our value was linked to how much they were going to give. How they feel our value is linked to how much money we get from them.
Hmm. That's powerful. That's very powerful. So for you right now in your current work, like what are the strongest headwinds? I hear funding. Are there other
Mhm.
headwinds or undercurrents that are kind of pressing down on the work you do?
Well, yeah, I think even with our students, when you think about being in this space where you are going to get an education and, not to be political, but to have seen someone who ran for president and they have served in every area of the government, probably has been the most qualified to run for that position, be told that they're a DEI hire. You
Hmm.
know, that's another thing that we're having to empower and raise their self-esteem on a daily basis because that's hard to say, am I investing in this education? Am I investing my time, my talent, my energy? And then I'm going to go and seek a space and be told that I'm not qualified because of the color of my skin, not because of my resume or my background or my education, but simply because you have deemed that I am not qualified.
Hmm. That feels like we're moving backwards.
It does.
So how do you keep moving forward despite all of that? Like, how do you support yourself and your students
Mhm.
knowing that these are the conditions that we are navigating right now? What does that look like?
Well, I think even though it feels like we're moving backwards, I don't think we are. I always believe in falling forward, right? And so, although this feels like we've taken a lot of really big hits lately, you learn from how we were able to get back here. And
Hmm.
so, as you start developing those processes and you start developing those procedures and and policies, and you start even the way that we, encounter how we question data and the way that we walk into a room, we start asking different questions that don't allow them to continue creating the same systems. Like your system needs to become shaky at some point, because if your data has not improved, like the services that you're providing based on your data has not improved the people that you're serving, then that means that there's something wrong with the system that you've created. And it's time to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
So, but no, we're just learning. And especially when we think about like the civil rights movement and all of those things, and we start talking about, speaking to especially my elders and them talking about, oh, this just feels like what we've already been through, right? It's not, because we have a path of understanding how to get through this. They've done it.
Mm-hmm.
So we use what they've taught us, and we began to revamp what we've been afforded, the opportunities, the knowledge, the spaces, the seats at the table that they didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
And we strategically utilize those things so that we make sure that our children aren't dealing with this in 50 years.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned asking good questions, and when you're at the seats at the table, the questions that you're asking, the way that you're challenging so that we are reshaping. What is one question you feel like we all should be asking right now? If we have a seat at the table, what is the question that we should be asking?
One of the things that I have started saying is be specific, provide an instance.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I've noticed is that there is a lot of, even when, if you think about women, how we talk about being labeled as aggressive when we're being assertive, or when we stand behind what we feel, right? And they say, well, you know how you do, or you'll get somebody told. When?
Mm-hmm.
When has that happened?
Mm-hmm.
Give me an instance of that. And they never have examples, because if they can provide that generalization, and you don't say anything about it, then you receive it. And then those around them start tacking that onto you. We are responsible for telling our story. And I think that is the biggest learn that I have gotten in these last few years, just in my life, personally and professionally, is that if you don't tell your story, someone else will, and the way they tell it will benefit them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Love that. We are responsible for telling our own story.
Mm-hmm.
What is the story you want to tell, Wakita?
I am really just living my life. Honestly, like I think sometimes, especially being forced into leadership, a lot of times when you have ideas and you have ambition and you want to implement change, it can be seen as competitive and all of these other things. And I just really feel like most of the people that I come in contact with, although we may be ambitious, it's not from a place of trying to take something from anyone else. Like the story that I want to take, and I hope that I've done that with the people that I come in contact with, the leaders that I build beside me, is that there is enough room for all of us. Mm-hmm. If we all do our one thing well, the impact is so much greater than us all trying to do your one thing because it looked good while you was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I believe that. I firmly believe that. Like we all have something that we are supposed to contribute to this life.
Yes.
If we don't do it, it doesn't get done.
It doesn't get done, or it doesn't get done as well. It didn't get done the way that you were called to do it. Because I honestly feel God he's going to give. He used Abraham as bad as a mess he was, If he can use him, he'll use us as well, but it just won't be in the way that it could have been if we were obedient.
So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about legacy. Nothing was holding you back because you're a builder. What would your next chapter of leadership look like and feel like for you? What do you see?
That's such an interesting question. Right now, like money, did you say money?
Nothing is holding you back.
Nothing. I'll be thinking about money. If I could do.
We all be thinking about money.
Yeah, it's money. I don't know. I think really where I am really interested, and I know this is going to be very odd just based on what I do from day to day, but I am really interested in um, helping healing generational hurts through genealogy. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I could just, if that was the thing, if I understood all the little DNA things and I would really just work with families to establish their family trees, understand who they are, and start building towards, creating their own legacies. I think some of the disconnect that we find in our communities is not, it comes from not healing our trees.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that stuff is so ancestral and it's being passed, dysfunctional behavior being passed from one generation to the next generation. So if I had the time and I had the money and I could really, impact, it would be from a place of helping. Cause I think we have so many talented, bright leaders and, change makers, but the amount of weight that they have to carry
Mm-hmm.
in order to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling my husband the other day, I said, yeah, we've had another successful event, but when you feel like you have to like go through an obstacle course and you're like, first you got to fight off the cat and then you got to fight off a bear and then you got to fight off the lion and then you got to run from a pit of snakes. Like yeah, I won, but
Yeah, I'm worn out by the. I can't even enjoy it. I can't enjoy
right.
it.
And so I think that type of healing where we just really become absolute in our identity and understanding who we are, it would heal so many places. And it would, some things you would have to walk away and say, but at least there would be an understanding of where that disconnect and that dysfunction comes from so that you can move forward and put in, again, create processes and put in things that allow you boundaries and parameters and just, other things that help you walk forward,
Mm-hmm.
without all that baggage.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you want your legacy to be?
So my legacy is honestly, I just want things to be better than I left them.
Mm-hmm.
My legacy, of course, starts with my children, my family. Um, I have always said that my goal was to ensure that they were self-sufficient, stable adults. I just wanted them to be able to be happy, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
function in this world without anyone else's trauma being thrown onto them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've spent a lot of energy protecting them from trauma. I just didn't want them to have to deal with things. And so I think that's just the beginning. And my legacy really is hinged in them first and then expanding that to the greater community, those that I come in contact with, those that I'm able to mentor, those that I am able to develop with and grow with. I want them to feel like, when I'm gone, they miss me, but not to the extent of they can't survive because I'm gone. Like, I don't want to be holding anyone up. I want to actually help them be better and be self-sufficient and be able to do this thing with or without me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Wakita. Thank you so much for your wisdom and your
You're welcome.
nuggets. And thank you, leaders, for joining us this Friday for another end of the week wind down. I'm Dr. Tracy Simone, your go to strategist, facilitator, and coach. Help me get unstuck and get things done so you can build a legacy that lasts. And we will see you next Friday. Bye.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us for Real Talk with Real Leaders, Inspiration for Radical Freedom Dreamers. This space is here to remind you that your story, your vision, and your leadership are part of reimagining what's possible. If you're a leader ready to share your voice, scan the QR code on the screen to apply to feature. Together, we're fueling radical freedom dreamers, leaders daring to chart new courses for our communities and our world. Until next time, keep anchoring, keep leading, and keep dreaming toward freedom.